Okay, so my first card is going to be a kind of a fun fold. This is one of those cards that whenever we come out with these fantastic designs in designer series paper that are awesome, like they coordinate together the two sides, like if you fold it over and they go together, I love that. Some papers you fold it over and they don't go together, but if they do, then the drapery fold, like this, to me, this is not what I would consider papers that go together. So this is not a pattern that I would use for this technique thing that I'm going to share with you. It's called the drapery fold, and it works best when both sides of your paper go together, that they coordinate together. This one, yes, I would say that does coordinate together. This one, I believe, does also. Yep, sure enough. Also, in case you guys didn't know, on this particular pattern in this paper, some of these things you can die cut with one of the dies in the set. So you've got a few different options here, maybe different color combinations here. So that's pretty fun. And then I think there's one more in here. Yes, I believe it's this one. And so those do go together also. So for this technique, the drapery fold technique, you definitely want papers that the front and the back coordinate. So we are going to be using our Stampin' Trimmer, and we're going to be using the framed Florets stamp set and the dies, the framed Florets dies. And these are a bundle. You can purchase them now. They will also be a carryover thing that goes into the next catalog, the Occasions catalog that starts in January. And then we also have these fun gold adhesive back swirls that are part of that collection also. We're doing the drapery fold. Got to get my paper out here. So I have a paper, excuse me, a piece of this pattern, and this measures 7 1/4 by 3. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of scoring on this. First of all, we're going to score it at 3 inches. So I'm going to put my paper in at the 3-inch mark. Make sure my cutting blade is out of the way, and I'm going to score that. Then I'm going to go over here to 3.5, and then I'm going to go to 5, and then I'm going to go to 6. Okay, there we go. So, and I don't know, you guys probably aren't going to be able to see the score lines. I can see them, but you guys might not be able to, but they're there. So what I like to do is the first score line I made at that 3 inches is I fold back onto it. And so that kind of really accentuates that fold line. So that fold line, that first one, that 3-inch, is going to go into my track on my trimmer. So I have my 3-inch section right here. And I have that in the track of the trimmer. And then the point up here is going to be at about 2 inches. If it's a little more, if it's a little less, not a big deal, about 2 inches. So I'm going to come back here again, make sure my fold line is in the track. My point is about at 2 inches. And then I am going to cut off this little sliver right here. Now, I don't know what a person could do with this, so I'm not going to save it. I'm going to toss it. Okay. So we have already folded back on the 3-inch. Now the 3.5-inch, we're going to fold the opposite direction. Then we're going to come to the 5 and fold it towards us. And then the 6, fold it out. Okay. So this is what I have here, this fun little fold, which is awesome. So what I want to do is I want to kind of glue these pleats together. And so I'm going to glue them together, but I'm not going to glue all the way down because I do kind of want them to be like this. Okay, so I'm going to add adhesive. So I'm going to kind of fold these back over one at a time. So this pleat here, I'm going to add some seal, not down the whole thing, as you can see. So then I'm going to stick that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing here, add a little bit there and stick that down. And then I'm going to add a little bit there to stick that down. Then I'm going to bring it over, and I still have one little spot here that I need to stick down. And there we go. Okay, so now everything is stuck down except at the bottom. I kind of wanted it to still be able to look a little flowy down there, if that's a word. I mean, it is, but whatever. Okay, so now I have a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of balmy blue, and I'm going to just give this a score here because when you cut your paper the hot dog way, then when you try to fold it, if you don't score it first, it's like you're folding against the grain. And sometimes it just doesn't like that, and it won't. It'll give you some fits. and give you a weird crease up here. So now we're going to add our pleated layer to the front here. So I'm just going to kind of look at it. I'm going to use liquid glue so that I can kind of wiggle it around if I have to, like if it doesn't go in the exact spot that I want it to begin with. So I'm just going to add some liquid glue all over here. All right, and we'll add that. So we're having this side and the bottom be flush, and then this side over here is also flush. So we have our drapery fold. We have a little bit of play right there, which is always fun. And then the next thing I did was I took the shaped contours dies, and we have this fun scallop border. And so I cut myself a little scallopy border. But I'm going to trim this down to a 1/2 inch. What I really wanted was some Night of Navy ribbon, but we don't have any. So that's fine. I'll just make my own thing that's Night of Navy, and it's going to be this little guy right here. So I am going to add some glue right across the top of my designer series paper. And then I'm going to add this. It's a little bit longer than the piece, as you can see, but I wanted to decide where I wanted the scallops. So there we go. It's so fun. I mean, we see your names all the time, you know, commenting on our videos, and you guys know what we look like. So you feel like you know us, and you do know us, but we don't know you because we've never seen you. So I'm excited. Okay, so I have that's my little border piece. Then I've got a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer for the inside, and I have some die cut pieces here. So I have an oval out of white and an oval out of navy, and now these come out of this particular die right here. So it's the center of this die. I'm not using the frame that goes around it in this particular card. So I've got the white and I've got the navy, and so for the navy I'm going to snip this in half. Okay, it's not perfect at all, and that's totally fine. I don't care. So I'm going to separate it. As you can see, I'm separating it. So there's about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16 between these two layers. And I'm going to tape them together. Okay. So that's what we have so far, that and this. Now this I'm going to decorate. So I'm going to get my stamps. And I have this fonts in this set I absolutely love. And so I got a birthday sentiment here. I always need some kind of fancy birthday cards at this time of year. Both of my sister-in-laws have birthdays in December. One is like the 19th and one is like the 27th. So I always try to make something a little special. So, because, you know, sometimes I feel like people that have birthdays around Christmas, they don't always get, you know, the full birthday celebration experience because they have a birthday near Christmas. So, all right. I am going to also ink up this very small little flower, and I'm going to stamp that right down here underneath the word birthday. Okay, like that. This is our inside layer, 4 by 5 1/4. We also have another little sentiment that's in the stamp set, and I don't remember what it says, but we're going to find out pretty darn quickly here. Ooh, for a special person on a special date. I feel like I didn't get that all inked up. I don't know, maybe I did, but I feel like I got extra ink here again. I also have, I die cut these two pieces out of polished pink. Whoops, and then I die cut this little leaf guy right here. And so I'm just going to add some glue to this little leaf. And I'm going to get some of the glue off because I have a little bit too much. I got a little carried away, and I'm just going to add that leaf right here to the bottom of the card so that we have some fun on the inside and the fun on the outside. All right, so let's go ahead and get this added to the inside of the card. Open that up, and we'll add this. And for those of you that might be new, when I add inside layers to cards, I only care about the 3 outside edges. I don't care about the fold line, if it lines up or not. I just try to make sure that these 3 sides are even, because when you open up the card, you're not going to know whether this is the equal distance because there's all that other, that same color is up there. Does that even make sense? I mean, it makes sense in my brain, but sometimes when I say things, they don't make sense. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So we are now going to take this and we are going to add it to this layer of navy. So we're going to give ourselves a little border at the top and the bottom of this. So I'm going to be just kind of careful where when I stick it on there so that the top and the bottom area is about the same. Okay. And then obviously right here, you don't have any extra navy sticking out, but we're going to put it around this border piece. So you're not going to really be able to tell, but you'll be able to tell at the top and the bottom. So I also wanted to add these little foliage pieces. So I'm just going to kind of lay that one there. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to use tape. I'm going to cheat. And I'm just going to add a piece of tape to hold that in place. Now this little guy, I am going to have it come down from this angle here, but I don't need all of that. So I'm going to snip it off about right there. Whoa, that I was not expecting. All right, hold on. I need to cut that off too. There. All right. And then we'll have this little guy coming down from the side over on this side. And again, I'm going to cheat and I'm just going to use some tape. Okay. So then we have that. So fantastic. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals here to adhere this to the card. So now you can leave it like this if you want. That's totally fine. But I was purposely waiting for this to dry a little bit before I added some color. So I'm going to go ahead and add some color with my, what is this? Light polished pink. So we have that. Then we're going to bring in our little gold swirls, because why not? They're so cute and they're flat, you guys. They're like super flat. So when you try to mail them, they mail really nicely. The card is done. It's gorgeous. It's fantastic. It's got a fun little technique on the bottom. And I literally do this technique every single time we have fantastic paper. So there you go. There.